Labubus are f***ing up your dopamine. You think you're buying a cute toy, but you might have just been sold a psychological trigger. If you haven't heard of Labubus before, they're these cute collectible toys that have taken the world by storm, and people are lining up for hours to get their hands on one. This vaguely threatening, eyebrow-lacking, Cheshire cat grinning elf is distributed by Pop Mart, a Chinese toy company, and all of a sudden, everyone is into it. Well, okay, before you correct me and say, well, actually, I don't have one and I think they're ugly, which very original opinion by the way, I did say something wrong. And that's all of a sudden, everyone is into it, because with the way Labubus are marketed and sold, people were bound to get addicted. Labubus as a designer toy is at the intersection of luxury, being associated with celebrities like Lisa from Blackpink, Rihanna, Dua Lipa, just about every aspirational lifestyle influencer, and gambling. It turns out buying a Labubu uses the same psychological mechanisms as the slot machines in casinos. And what could go wrong when you mix a fixation with status with an addiction that borderlines on gambling? Well, let's find out as we uncover the disturbing psychology behind the Labubu craze. Labubus are carried by Chinese toy company Pop Mart, and the way they sell toys is akin to a magic trick. They dangle something in front of you for a second, then poof, it disappears. And the name of this magic trick is called artificial scarcity. Pop Mart deliberately sells toys in very limited quantities, and this is because they want to create an environment that drives competitive consumption, or put you in a headspace where you buy first and think later, because if you take too long to think, all the stock is going to be gone. This peer pressure to act now creates a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out, which is key to Labubu sales. But wait, why does this FOMO marketing work? What makes us want a Labubu in the first place? One explanation, called the perceived value theory, can help us answer this question. The perceived value theory is a combination of social, emotional, and economic factors that give things value, and explains why a seemingly normal toy accessory, like a Labubu, can cause such a frenzy. First, the social front. Labubus hold social value as it's commonly spotted with celebrities, which instantly made it popular amongst their fans and then the general public. It also helps that a lot of the celebs pair Labubus with their luxury bags, further cementing its image as a designer toy. Having a Labubu is cool and it gives you status and recognition. Therefore, Labubus provide social value. Next, emotional factors. The saying is, money doesn't buy happiness, but money does buy Labubus, which if you ask this crowd, is probably the same thing. Fans of Labubu often say they like the design or the quality of the toy. Others feel a sense of nostalgia buying toys again, but this time with adult money. Way better than being a kid falling in love with a toy in 5 seconds and then getting hit with a soul-crushing put it back from your parents. Because if you guys haven't noticed yet, the biggest buyers of Labubus are not kids, they're adults. And the fact that this demographic has total control over their spending will become key later on. Going back to our perceived value theory though, all of these reasons are valid examples of Labubus providing emotional value. Then finally, we have economic factors. Labubus being so popular right now means there's a lot of demand for it. And since Pop Mart only does limited drops, Labubus are often resold for more money. Very rare items can fetch an astronomical price, like this first generation human-sized Labubu that sold for nearly 1.1 million yuan or over $150,000 at an auction in Beijing. You can definitely make a profit with Labubus, so clearly there's economic value here too. Labubus taking all 3 boxes of social, emotional, and economic value results in this long of a line before launch. You might think this experience turns people off from getting a Labubu, but often this kind of competition strengthens a consumer's emotional attachment to the product, which makes finally getting it feel all the more sweeter. The emotional rollercoaster Labubu buyers go through because of scarcity marketing reminds me a lot of how certain luxury brands approach their sale, like Hermes, famous for how you don't get to pick the Birkin picks you. Meaning whatever the sales assistant offers you to buy is likely what you'll have to accept. Even getting offered a Birkin or a Kelly is a big deal, because not everyone is lucky enough to be picked, and you have to work for it, establishing a solid purchase history at Hermes beforehand to get on the sales assistant radar. Other designer brands using a similar approach include Supreme with a limited streetwear drops, or Rolex that has a 2 to 5 year waiting list for their Daytona watch. Obviously, Labubus don't cost in the tens of thousands, but you go through similar hurdles, and strangely enough, all of this fosters loyalty. When it comes to being loyal, there's 4 stages in the pipeline here, and I'd say with all the Labubu content we see on social media nowadays, Pop Mart has mastered the art of turning casuals into fans. At the very first stage of the loyalty pipeline is cognitive loyalty. This is when you like Labubus for their aesthetics or vibes, but you're not like a hardcore fan or anything, it's just cool to have. Stage 2 is affective loyalty. Perhaps after you bought this Labubu, you really bonded with other people who like Labubus too, or you had some sort of fun experience. So now it's not just cool, you also have good memories and positive emotions associated with it. Your loyalty is getting deeper. That brings us to the next phase, loyalty of action. This is when you become consistent with your purchases. Every time a collection drops, so does the figure in your bank account. One Labubu collector shares, I never miss a release from Pop Mart. Every time there is a new product, I immediately buy it. At this point, the design and price are all secondary, owning it comes first. Then finally, the highest stage of loyalty is commitment loyalty. This is when you really live, laugh, and love Labubu. You become an active ambassador, encouraging others to get into Labubus or just mentioning it everywhere you go. Owning Labubus becomes a part of your personality. And can you imagine being one of these people that like a product so much you make everyone around you get it? Because it's me, I'm People, and this is the Voyager suitcase from Level 8, today's lovely sponsor. I am an overpacker, and this suitcase is the biggest enabler because I can pack so much in here. It also glides so well you would never guess I'm hauling a whole closet worth of clothes for a week-long trip. The Voyager suitcase is a Newsweek Reader's Choice Award winner, but they also carry so many other premium designs. Like the Gibraltar aluminium carry-on looks stunning. I ordered one, it's on its way, and I can't wait. Literally, if there was an airport crush starter pack, you know this carry-on would be on there. Level 8 does free shipping if you're in the US, Canada, or Europe, and all their suitcases come with a lifetime warranty. So you know it'll be one of those purchases you make once and love for a long time. Go check them out and use my code AINI10 or link in the description to get 10% off your purchase. Thank you Level 8 for sponsoring this video. Now coming back to our loyalty pipeline, we've seen several occasions where people on this end have made owning something a big part of their identity. In fact, taking a closer look here, Pokemon cards and Labubus are both huge at the moment, and they actually share a very key similarity other than giving you a second job as a full-time marketplace worker. And that's in adding an element of chance to the buying experience. This is probably one of the biggest reasons as to why there is a Labubu addiction right now. If you're lucky, you walk away with a cute toy, and if you're not, you might just find yourself picking up habits that are dangerously close to gambling. Labubus come in a set of 12, and each one looks slightly different. If you had a specific design you were after, you need to either buy the whole set or get lucky, because Labubus are sold in a blind box system, so whatever you get is random. If you only buy one box, chances of you getting your favorite design is 1 in 12. Not great. If you're fine with pretty much every design except for one that you think is absolutely hideous, chances of you getting that is almost certain, trust me. Every box you buy is a gamble, and we can trace the roots of this blind box system back to Japan in the 20th century. It started with a tradition of hukubukuro, or lucky bag, where stores would put different items in a mystery bag and sell it at a discount. Toy manufacturers in the 1960s then took this idea and created gachapongs, vending machines that drop a random toy. Pop Mart uses this exact mechanism, giving you a design at random so you can never guarantee what you get, unless of course you buy the whole collection. But they've added a little more spice to this game of chance. It turns out, yes, you have a 1 in 12 chance of getting any of these designs, but there's also a rare 13th design that's called a secret. Chances of getting a secret can be 1 in 72 or 1 in 144, depending on the collection. And as you can guess, the secret fetches for much more on the resale market. When you buy the whole collection, you're bound to get all the basic designs, but it doesn't guarantee a secret. If you get lucky and you hit the 1 in 72 or the 1 in 144 chance, the secret replaces one of the basic designs in your set. But probability-wise, when you buy a set, more likely than not, you're just going to receive all the standard designs. Hunting for secrets is where similarities with gambling become most evident, as it leverages the same psychological principle used behind slot machines, called variable ratio reinforcement. This is when you perform the same action hoping for a reward, but the reward occurs randomly, so you just have to do the same thing over and over again. For slot machines, it's tapping a button, anticipating the next roll is the one you win big. For Labubus, it's unwrapping box after box, hoping for the secret design. This unpredictability is what keeps people hooked, especially when the reward is a valuable one. The other really important thing to note here is how our dopamine interacts with this process. Our dopamine spikes not just when we get what we want, but when we anticipate it. This is huge because you can keep failing to get what you want but still get hit with dopamine all the same. Take a look at the behavior here by a Labubu collector.
Again, this is my third full set of Havaseeds trying to get the secret. If it isn't in here, I'm gonna lose it. Secret, please. QQ. Secret. Box 4 feels good. Baba. The secret. Cece. Just spent all this money on 3 full sets for nothing. 3 full sets. Should I buy another or just give up?
Our dopamine spiking in anticipation keeps us hooked in the process regardless of outcome. Also, by the time we've ripped through 30 boxes and we still haven't gotten the 1 in 72 secret, sunk cost fallacy hits. We've already spent all this money, we can't just stop now. And after so many attempts, surely the next one is it. One Labubu collector shares how often in the community in the process of secret hunting, it gets to the point where some members confess, I don't have gas money for the month. If I run out of gas right now, I wouldn't be able to go to work for the next 2 weeks. As outsiders, it might seem absurd that some people are prioritizing collecting toys over essentials like gas money, but founder Jennifer Heinen sheds light into how PopMart encourages this thinking. The limited edition drops, blind box packaging, and fast sellouts create an emotional urgency that triggers FOMO, which overrides critical decision making and boosts obsessive collecting. As a result, we actually kind of see an inverse of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow proposed that physiological and safety needs are one of the first ones that need to be met, and then you have love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. But in our modern society, we're starting to see trends of people prioritizing needs of esteem over needs of security. Receiving respect from others, securing recognition, and feeling self-accomplished can become more important than a safety need like financial security. And this mentality is fueled by FOMO culture with limited drops and a purchasing system based on gambling. One user on Reddit stated this about their recent Labubu purchase. To be honest, I kept telling myself and everyone I was done. I felt that my collection was complete and that I was happy. I've recently only been scoring Labubus for my friends and family that wanted some. I don't know what happened to me today. I couldn't stop myself from adding them to my bag. It's like once you have it in your hands, you just have to buy it and see what's inside. Even when you tell yourself you're done and you're happy with your collection, constant new releases undermine that feeling of accomplishment from having completed your collection. And everyone around you wanting Labubus only reinforces its value and heightens the feeling of missing out. The first Labubu purchase is often a lot of fun, but tell me, is it still enjoyable when you're 70 boxes in and you're opening them not out of joy, but because your desire is engineered, your behavior compulsive, and you're chasing a dopamine hit triggered by limited stock, FOMO, and a game of chance? Associate Marketing Professor Eugene Chen warns of how modern marketing is no longer just about selling products, it's about selling psychological triggers. He asks, are we buying into mystery or are we being sold obsession and compulsion? PopMart's motives might be up for debate, but their success isn't. With a market value exceeding $40 billion, they've become one of the most valuable toy companies in the world. And after seeing their success in mixing luxury culture with gambling, I have to wonder, when do we stop buying things and start buying into things? If you liked my breakdown, make sure to subscribe for more similar content. I talk about all things East Asia here, and the next video will be very spicy. You won't want to miss it. That's FOMO marketing for you. If you want to share your thoughts on PopMart, FOMO culture, gambling mechanics, or your Labubu experiences, I would also love to hear it. And finally, a big thank you to my amazing patrons for their support. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!